Hey Brazy, how are you going, man? Good to have you on board, Chief. How's it going? Brazy, we are going to wait a few moments for the crowd to assemble. And then we are going to unleash our enormous chess knowledge. How does that sound? We are gonna unleash. And Mr. Blues is in the house. Mr. Landau is in the house. And Rivaldo is in the house too. Hello, hello, ladies. Stronghold. ZJ with a YouTube account coming in strong. That's cool beans. I like that. That is cool beans. What's the hot goss, ladies, by the way? What is the hot goss? I'm on the train to Stockholm to go to a chess party. That already is a concern. I was gonna sleep, but then you went live. So rude of you, indeed. That's how I roll. Z-Slayer in the house. Alright, let's warm up with some puzzles. I don't like idle sitting around. So let's do some dailies. And we are going to go back in time. Prez! What's good, Prez? Oh, actually, there are 2 weeks here in 2023, April, that we haven't done. Should we take the bait? Yes. Take, check, king h2, bishop e5, f4. Yes, we should take the bait. Thank you very much. Ding's pawn patrol. What? Is it g3, g4, g5? That would be sexy. So let's do that. g3, g4, g5. Take a piece. Nothing like pushing pawns. This looks like a backrank check with dire consequences. Why to move? It feels to me like c4. You're going to be rocking my hoodie. Dude, I need a bloody selfie from that. If you are wearing a ChessCoachAndras merch, I demand that you take a selfie right now and you're sending it to us. Or else. Like, How dare you, basically, is what I'm saying. Okay, c4, where does this knight go? Knight f4 check wins the knight. Knight e7 looks horrid. Don't know why yet, but it does look horrid. Maybe I'm missing something here. But now I'm distracted by Chess Blues, who must obey my command. And take a selfie. Right now. And send it to us. Or else. Looking to get back into rapid press. That's what we want, buddy. Oh, c4, knight e7, bishop e7, queen e7 is met by mate. What do you mean that Anish was correct, Superman? That it was his time, except he didn't reckon with... This looks like a bishop d7. Just to mess with all the rooks. Yeah, it kind of makes this threat very, very obnoxious, and that threat. That is just vibing, like that's not even playing or thinking in chess. That's just vibes. Wait. How will you get Judith Polgar? Oh, she's in... Oh, I just saw her posting something on Twitter about being in Sweden. So check here. Check king f5. Rook h5, king f6. Rook g6, king e7, and the king seems to slither away. Well, maybe you might want to have two separate ones, but I would be very delighted to see either or both. Check king f5. I keep coming back to this line. I have a challenge for you, Sweet Blues. If you get a chance to talk to her, say Judith instead of Judith, and be pleased about the smile you are going to get. Not that she's not used to being called Judith, but if someone goes out of their way to actually learn the correct pronunciation of an otherwise very simple name, I'm pretty sure that it will be met by appreciation. I will need your approval also to post it on social media afterwards, so you might want to make one where your face is not visible, or put on some sunnies, or as in sunglasses or something, if you are sensitive about appearing on social media. That would be a brilliant way of promoting my brand altogether, so I would be very grateful for that. Wait, can we create a clog? Kinda? No, we can't. Yes, and German as well. What is the Swedish version of Judith? I guess it would be something like Jutta, or Jutta, like in German, right? I don't see Rook G. I don't understand Rook G6. Isn't just this is hanging, no? Maybe take. That threatens with mate in 2. But what if Rook takes? Check here, check here. Yeah, doesn't seem to further our cause at all. No, in Hungarian it's pronounced as a ya. So it's not Judith, it's Judith, with a very clearly present y sound. And likewise, Susan is also not Susan, by the way, but Zsuzsa. But since she has migrated to the US, I suppose. And also Sofia is Zsófia in Hungarian. So all three of their names are actually typically mispronounced by pronouncing it in the English way. Oh, wait, is this a move? Take, and now if we could cover the rook. Oh, hello, I solved it, baby. Oh, la 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 la. I just needed to not try too hard, and then I got it. I have seen this before. Check, he, check. King g8, queen check, king takes is not it. So what is it then? Check, king e97, king h8. No. Okay, so wait. Knight g6, king takes, check, king back, check, king f8, rook f1 can only be met by queen takes because rook a1 is met by mate. But queen f1, king f1, bishop takes is problematic because you don't have any pieces left to give mate with. So what do we do? Oh, Judith is actually a Swedish name as well, right? That's kind of cool though. I'm surprised though that it's not popular anymore. What would you say are the most popular Swedish names these days for females? Oh, Mr. Landau, you have got a game for us to analyze. Yeah, sure, I'm happy to take a look. Absolutely. So one more time. Check, 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 check. King takes. Oh, it's bishop takes, takes, and check. Oh my god, I'm an idiot. It's so simple, man. Like, why do I have to be a cretin? Oh, that was embarrassing. Have you sent it, Mr. Landau? Oh, not yet. No, not yet. Okay. I'll wait. Vera, which is short for Veronica. Alma. Alma in Hungarian means apple, by the way. Elsa. Wow. Anna and Elsa. Frozen effect, eh? Yeah, Mr. Stronghold is definitely on the ball. All right, Mr. Landau. Eagerly waiting. Eagerly awaiting. Oh. Okay. All right, here we go. Here we go. Let's go. Oh, Mr. Landau is in the black trunks. Okay. Thank you so much for the dono. Thank you, thank you, thank you. And whoomp. And then with the follow. Cheers, buddy. Very good to have you on board. Mr. Wumpanen, can you coach me in chess? There's a very long queue, brother, for that. And it's gonna cost you money too. Alternatively, you can just stay tuned and watch, because that's exactly what I'm doing right now. Who am I supporting for World Champ, Gukesh or Sindarov? I really don't mind, to be honest with you. But just to be different from the rest of the crew, I'm gonna root for Gukesh. Because I have a feeling that everyone thinks that it's gonna be a walk in the park. Which was the same mistake that everyone thought about the Ding Gukesh match, by the way. So, yeah. I'm gonna currently stand with Team Gukesh. What is more interesting to me at the moment is the location of the match, and whether I would be keen to go there, or whether anyone would be keen to have me there. Okay, wait a second. So, Bishop G2. Like, why is that not D4 in a heartbeat, Mr. Landau? Hello? What? Like, how is that not D4 right away without a second thinking? Guiley! Thank you, man. Thank you. Mr. Landau, when a developed knight can be kicked, goes the mantra, yeah? Plus center. Like, what? How could you do this to me of playing C6 here? It's like an act of treason. Why did we do that? Guiley, thank you so much, man, for the support. Okay, so let's break this down. Yeah, D4 kicks the knight, and if knight E4, we take, and now the bishop is very weak on E4. We have spoken about this phenomenon on the stream, by the way, several times, that bringing a fianchettoed bishop or fianchettoed bishop out is always awkward, because now you can't really develop here without shutting it out. So likely if we play a random developing move, they will have to go back, which means that this bishop has moved already 3 times in the first 6 moves. Which is an absolute no-brainer to do. So C6 is definitely inaccurate. This needed to be D4 without the capture, retaining the tension. So that's actually, I dislike that, because now the queen is going to be kicked around and then the knight. I think this is a problematic way to play. I have played a fair few blitz and rapid games where my opponents would invariably play here queen a4 thinking that it stops d4. But actually it's the opposite. It encourages us to play d4, since bishop takes c6, bc, queen takes bishop d7 is immediately decisive. And so after d4, they are forced to play some dumb, well, not dumb, but unwanted knight move. And that just makes things even worse, as now white is losing castling rights. Tana, welcome in. So this is a very important no-go zone for white. They try to fix it with queen d1, but again, d4 is very strong here. Played, good. Knight e4, yeah, take, yep, take. And maybe bishop b4 check, maybe bishop c5, either or. By the way, I also think that bishop f5 is not too bad here, but take is definitely better. Yep. And now castles. Excellent. So what you want to observe here is that white now is threatening to take this with check and then pick off the free bishop. And then most players want to fix this problem by taking on d2. Which, as you all know, is releasing tension when we do not want to do that. The correct way to deal with this double tension is to castle out of check. And now white can force the trade of these bishops. but it's now costing them the light squared bishop. And that's a massive difference, right? So now after take, we have got a light squared bishop and they do not. So now the presence of the light squared bishop on this diagonal or this diagonal combined with the queen on d5 is absolutely brutal. Whereas if we take on d2 immediately here and then we castle, then we didn't manage to force the trade of the bishop. Hence, castle's best move by far. Shout out to Mr. Landau. Rook e8, excellent. Same line is being forced now with take and then take. I guess bishop h3 is a move. Maybe queen e7 is a move. But I'm happy with this. I would have played the same. Okay, that's a shocker. So even though it's unwanted, white should trade. Because here the axiom of fewer pieces, fewer problem definitely applies. Because now white retains all of their problems. In particular, the inability of castling short, while keeping a shed load of pieces on the board. This would at least result in a fair number of trades and a relatively safer king. Now white is just busted. Yeah, this is textbook case of you trying to do tactics when you have got zero right to do tactics. I was about to say that we are about to be 2 moves away from a checkmate. And knight e4 is cute and all, but like, hello, queen d4, bishop h7. Yeah, we got that. And if I don't take, then what's the plan against queen a5? Oh, nothing. You're actually getting mated. Right. Now this is also neat. And the point is that after take, unfortunately Mr. Landau calculated further. I don't know though if I prefer that or queen a5. Because now queen d2, knight takes d3 is such a sexy motive. Both the pawn and the queen are pinned. And so now we are going to mow down the entire board. Actually now we have got check even. Oh! Look at this. Check and then rook here to shut the queen off. Mate. Hello, Commander Papas. You like making edible fruit arrangements? I am all in for fruit, buddy. Shock, it's mostly the same stuff. Are you referring to the line that was played in multiple times in the candidates? Yeah, that's a nice mate. But it was more to the point that queen a5 sets up a marvelous checkmate thread that is... Like, you move the bishop, it's mate. So, Mr. Landau here demonstrates a very commonly seen concept, which is the calculate further than the opponent. But I think objectively queen a5 would have been a lot better move here. I don't know if Mr. Landau had seen it and opted not to go for it. But either way, the win is in the pocket. Take, check. And that's it. Okay, so I really don't want to split hairs, Mr. Landau, but I'm going to tell you this because there is your educational value here. I cannot possibly fathom what would make me want to play rook e d8 instead of rook a d8. Like every cell in my body goes like, what the frick when you did this? Like, why? And I suppose the reason that is because now you are, if I go onto the c file, then you have got rook c8 and then knight in, maybe. But since rook d8, king c3, knight b5 is almost gonna be mate. I kind of insist that we do this. But okay, you know what? I'll back off and not split hairs. Especially because that's exactly what happened. That was very nifty, brother. Very nifty. But very, very easy at the same time. Was it OTB or online? OTB, cool. Okay. Okay, that's good. Good stuff. Good stuff. AJ Baptista, welcome in. Does the name Baptista has anything to do with baptism? Is that the origin of that name? I don't want to be sounding ignorant or stupid. I'm just curious. So, answering Mr. Shockar's question next. So, I'm not quite sure which line exactly you're talking about. But I have a feeling that we're talking something like this. Oh my god. Well, in that case, I have got nothing to give you other than general concepts, which is just play reverse Benoni. One of the things that you need to be careful with, though, is that certain lines are not going to work because you are tempo down. So, for example, there is certainly no time to build up the h6 line. Because now after rook e1... yeah, rook e1, bishop d6. It feels like we're tempo down here compared to the main line. 95 may already be good here. c5 is quite disconcerting. So, yeah. Oh, Tindy in the house. So, anyway, the engine thinks that the safest setup here is if you completely shut down the e-file and bolster your e5 pawn like mad. And that is best accomplished by bishop d6. And then knight e7. This is a very healthy setup here. Yeah, exactly. Exactly. Look, here is my question for you. What is your opening against d4 with black? What are we doing against d4? Benku. Okay, so I don't understand how you would get into that structure anyway, because you play knight f3, knight f6. So yeah, I don't understand how you would ever get into reverse Benoni with black. If your opening repertoire is Benku. Like, the only way how you can get into reverse Benku is if against knight f3 you play d5. But if you are a Benku player, you can't do that because you get hit by d4. Yeah, that makes no sense. That makes absolutely no... So what do you do if after knight f3, d5, I play d4? Like, this is not a rati. You just got move order tricked into d4, d5. Or do you start it with knight f3, f6? And then after g3 you play d5? Is that it? Because if you start with knight f3, d5, that makes no sense. This also makes limited amount of sense based on your repertoire, but somewhat more. Yeah, I don't understand why you do that. That just doesn't, like, from here on out it makes some sense, but not a lot really. Like, why don't you just play g6? Like, you just said that you were a Banco player. Like, this can still easily go back into Banco territory. Like, not even close. Like, ta-da, Banco. Or d6, c4, b5, Banco. Why would you opt out of that and go into a structure that you totally don't play? Like, that makes no sense for you to play d5 here. Especially if you would like to, A, limit the amount of lines you have to learn, and 2, if you would like to get a coherent repertoire in general. Also, if you start like this, then this is a lot less appealing than the one without the knights out here, because now you have got more limited setups available to you in the reverse Benoni. For example, you can't play the f6 setup for starters, which is quite common and not that bad at all. And there are a few other things, like you can't also play the bishop d6, knight e7 ideas. So yeah, I think it's a very dodgy concept to play here d5. You should be playing g6 every day of the week. Also, I would, with respect, warn you that switching into the Nimzo is going to invariably pose you the problem of what you do against this. And if your proposed answer to this is to play c5 and invite the Benoni, then I'm telling you that you are going to spend the next 15 years of your life learning opening theory. Because combining the amount of learning that this takes with the Nimzo Indian, which is one of the biggest, largest openings on the planet known to men, it's like, dude, don't do it. Like, if that's the choice, why don't you just play Benoni from get-go? Keep the Banco and mix it with the Benoni. Then you have got a coherent repertoire, similar structures, still a little bit of variety sprinkled in. And you're happy as Larry. I just told you my recommendation. I mean, look, I don't know how willing you are to spend hours and hours and days and weeks on learning theory, but against d4, depending on your style of chess, you can, if you want something very dynamic, then typically it should be Grimfeld. Now, that, funnily enough, you can learn the basics of and then wing it, but it's incredible amount of theory. Likewise, the Nimzo is quite flexible, but an incredible amount of theory again. If you already have a Banco repertoire that you know, I would keep it, and I would play something that complements it. You have heard conflicting stuff about it. Come on, mate. Like, the Banco is a shaky opening once you cross the 2650 threshold. Until then, don't listen to the urban legends and the fairy tales. The only downside to the Banco is that it's a bit too narrow, and after a while you become very easy to prepare against. Which is why I have been saying ever since I started this mantra that you should keep the Banco and add the Benoni to it. And then you have got a versatile repertoire, harder to prep against you, and you have got better understanding of the structures. That's, in my opinion, a total no-brainer. Like, to jump into an entirely brand new opening like the Nimzo, which you are going to get about every 4th game that you play against d4, is just crazy. Like, for starters, if you are starting out your over-the-board journey, right? Out of 10 d4 games that you are going to get after knight f6, you are going to get 5 Londons, at least 1 Trompovskis. That's already 6. Yeah? Maybe another system setup. And the remaining games will go with c4. That's your first heads up. So be very wise and pragmatic and practical when you decide how much time you want to burn on d4, c4, knowing how frequently you are going to actually see it. So if you are about to start playing OTB chess, the black side of d4, c4 is the side of the repertoire that you probably should spend the least amount of time on. No, I didn't. I beat Aronyan in a dragon. So, yeah, I would definitely keep the banker as my main weapon for the time being. 100%. You have absolutely no reason to ditch that. Strats, welcome in to the YouTube crew. So good to have you, man. Alright, if we don't have any analysis requests, Tindy, have you got anything, buddy? You are still in credit, so I'm happy to look at a game of yours without any compensation, because the London epidemic is a combination of a lot of pro players picking it up with white, since they realize that it doesn't matter what they play, they don't get an advantage with white, and also because influencers who claim themselves to be chess coaches realized very quickly that they can teach a very effective opening system that yields instant results in 10 minutes. I mean, imagine what a fix that is. And 95% of people, of course, would rather do that than listen to me saying it's gonna be hard, it's gonna be tricky, and you're gonna lose a lot of games. Yeah, it's just a brain dead way to shoot you up from 400 ratings to 1000, 1200 without you having to do anything other than showing up. Except your chess really isn't improving in the interim. It's one of those things where you kind of successfully can simplify an incredibly complex thing and thus making it accessible to huge masses. And in a way, it's a good thing that it exists, really, because, you know, people want to have quick fixes in their lives. And not everyone wants to see how far they can go with chess, right? So if your goal in chess is to learn something and then be happy for the rest of your life without caring about, you know, learning chess, it is the ultimate weapon. I would actually teach it to people who come to me and say, I don't really want to, you know, pursue chess development. I just want to have fun. Show me something easy. Like, I would, without a second hesitation, teach them the London. 100%. Okay, Tindy says nay, so we are going to then go back to my initial agenda, and I would like to have a look at the Erdogmus Topalov match. I didn't see these games. And in case you didn't know, this match actually pushed Erdogmus over the 2700 rating mark, making him the youngest ever player in chess history to cross 2700. That is a hell of an achievement. And apparently starting here, this is game 2 from their match. I checked the first game. It was a rather uneventful, I should rather say, draw. So I skipped that and we are on to game 2. Yeah, I'm not surprised at all, Shock. Like, that's why I'm saying that if you look at, on the grand scheme of things, the number of d4, c4s you are gonna get, it's not worth touching anything at all. Okay, so this is that so far semi-Slav, and now if we go bishop h4, then it's going to be the so-called Moscow gambit. Hello, Jez. Yep, bishop e2 is theory. This is one of the most complex opening systems in the world. h4 is known to be theory. Castles is known to be theory. We have a fair bit going on here. Knight e5 is also cool. Very often here, by the way, white sacks a second pawn after b4, move away, and knight e4. But after knight e5, that's almost an insta-loss to bishop h5 ideas. For example, b4, knight a4, knight e4, bishop h5. Knight d6, knight c5. Now we're hitting this, hitting this. This is the epitome of Morphy's chess, right? Look at all white pieces developed. Black has nothing. Wow, this is beautiful. And the game is over. Yeah, black is completely cooked here. So, yeah, knight e5 is a solid move. Coach, in your d4 course, you avoided all these lines with g3 setups. What? What? Wait, what? What do you mean? I don't think I follow that, Mr. Landau. Can you give that question another go with some specifics sprinkled in? Like, there are actually g3 lines, quite a plenty, in fact. Well, not a plenty, but some in my course. And those are actually quite fun bits. Anyway, while you are recooking that question, I'm going to continue. Castles, very good. Now here, against bishop g7, white already has a very curious tactical idea. Can you guess what this is? Yeah, like g3 is played against the semi-Slav, g3 is played in the anti-Banku. Oh, yes! Well, to be fair to me, I recommend g3 here to avoid complications, but if you look at the lines, it's incredibly complex. It's just a lot less theory. Yes, you are correct, yes. But I love these lines, man. They are so much fun. Okay, so back to my question. What tactics is brewing here against bishop g7 by white? All of those who say knight f7, you need to give me a line that backs up that idea. Yes, Landau, with Mr. Landau, you are correct, yes. So bishop h5 is obviously neither tactical nor feasible because of castles. that would force what black wants to do. Don't ever force your opponent to play good moves. Knight f7, king takes over, bishop h5 check is selling your grandma for 1 check, right? You just go back to g8 and I don't understand what you have accomplished. So a lot of people are saying knight f7, but no one actually has anything to back it. Hello, Marshall. Thank you, Strats, for the YouTube sub. So the irony is that knight f7 is correct, but no one sees why. Mr. Shock is very much on the money. So the idea is to take, then play e5. You don't need to rush it. Because what happens is that very often in these lines, your pieces are not ready to launch an attack. Like bishop h5 is premature as hell. You need more pieces. And the bishop on b7 is extremely unlikely to prove itself to be a meaningful defender. So you need to build this up. An example of what it looks like when it's built up properly is this. Now this makes a lot of sense because this is incredibly annoying. And like getting a checkmate like this one would justify what I'm saying. Queen e7 seems to make some sense, but now after the check, black is stuck because if you go king f8, then after f4, all of a sudden we get mated on the f-file. Correct. Correct. This is the my theory from my Chessable course, Chess Principles Reloaded Development, which is the incidental gambit play, where you don't gambit something on move 2, but you build your position up, and when the position is ripe, that's when you turn your opening into a gambit. Okay, so Topalov played h5, which is partly to trap the bishop, but more importantly to deny bishop h5 in the previous variations that I showed you with knight f7. Knight d7, very good. So now if queen takes, then we can always put the bishop on e5 and create this obnoxious pin. And queen c1. All of this is still theory, by the way, so make no mistake, these guys are still in book. 100%. Which is a bit depressing, I know, but we have seen worse things in life than 15 moves of theory. Rook g8. Preemptively moving out of the pin. We can call it prophylaxis, given that we're chess players. And I believe that queen e3 was the first new move, but I may be wrong. Actually, let me just quickly check this. Oh no. Oh, no. Myriads of games for queen e3. Sorry, I stand corrected. Still in book. h4 was the first new move. h4 was the first new move. Almost everyone else played here knight g4 instead. And by the way, almost every single game is a draw from this position, with a few decisive exceptions for either color. Okay, so Topalov had the cojones to play the first novelty himself, which is pretty cool from a retired player. I really respect that. Oh, look, Topalov is an ultimate role model to follow as far as chess is concerned. Off-board antics, not so much. But over the board, he was one of the most aggressive, vicious players in chess history, period. So Prime Topalov, I think, was one of the most inspiring players to try to copy and follow and observe and imitate of all players. Like, at times, I think his level of aggression was beyond Kasparov's. Alright, my favorite move is about to come now, guys. So, can you guess? White to move. Is he more aggressive than Sokolov? Maybe not, but Sokolov never made it as far as Topalov did, right? I really like Shock's take that the position seems ready for d5. I totally agree with this. I'm trying to figure out myself what's wrong with d5. And maybe the answer is just simply b4. Yeah, I reckon it's b4. No, because you can take. Shit. No. Apparently it's knight d7. Which is quite wild. And your bishop kind of gets trapped. Ay, ay, ay. Crazy position. The engine reckons black is much better here. White is just stuck. If a4, you just play a6. And somehow white doesn't have a way to continue putting on pressure on the black. I don't know even what to say. Kingside / center or whatever. And black has got some obvious moves like queen g5 next. And if you play bishop f4, worst comes to worst, I can always go queen c5. Oh, yeah, I'm going to have a look at that, Jazz. Now, d5 is a very, very logical proposal. And in fact, if we now look at what refutes it, we can figure out the correct response, the move that was played in the game, which I labeled as my favorite move, and some of you should have been able to read between the lines that that will be some absolutely bozo move, like this. Bishop f6, I would be extremely reluctant to give up the bishop unless there is a follow-up that is forcingly winning for white. I'm guessing you were hoping to sell e5, knight e4, but unfortunately queen f4 is quite annoying. Oh, Thimble, you got my e4. Very good, and you're looking to use that in your state, champ. Which state is it, buddy? If you don't mind us, if you don't mind telling us. Why not f4 here? Because of g4. That's the whole point. That black always wants to push past. Mind you, actually, sorry, this is an exception. f4 is a blunder because of takes, and then bishop h6, right? And we completely cooked. So, yeah, no. I mean, maybe you meant f4 without taking, yeah? Yeah, right. Oh, you meant f4 here. Yeah, that is the same issue. That we need to find a spot for the bishop. And rather than that, we actually blocked it off. Even here, h3 is the engine's best move. Anyway, let's have a look at the game. So h3 played. Bishop h5 here. Yeah, that's valid. Valid. Yeah, queen e7 is what the machine wants. No, f5, knight e5 is game over. You can't afford that. This is how we lose. So annoying. So annoying. Same here, if we go f5 here, this is just take. Actually, this is a little bit better, but even here, black is out of trouble. We can never take because of the queen trade here. Oh, I mean, we can take, but it's over. So let me run the show with h3 and see what happens. 97. I expected g4 here, to be honest. Yeah, but now we have got take, 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 and we restored material parity. And central dominance is still present. Still quite something. Having said that, I don't know which color I would prefer this position with, to be honest. Like, this is so ridiculously complex and imbalanced. Like, this is the very reason why people play the semi-Slav with black. Because it's just immensely complex and every game has all three results on the table. Okay, back to the game. Topalov plays knight d7. Bishop h2, that makes perfect sense. That's why we played h3 in the first place. And queen b6. Rook d1. I would have been torn here between rook here or rook here. Because you feel like there is a job for the f rook. So that it's justified to not to move it away. Senior champ Codgers beating each other up. What is Codgers? Is that a word or is that a typo? What is Codger? A Codger, an informal, often affectionate or slightly derogatory term for an elderly man. Never heard that before. Frequently described as an eccentric, grumpy, or amusing. Bloody hell, that's like a definition of an old chess player. Codger. How do you pronounce this shit?
Codger.
Yeah, that's right, Codger. Cool, thank you for teaching me that. Appreciate it, Timbo. Good luck with the repertoire. I was only familiar with the word geriatrics, but I suppose that's a slightly different meaning. How do you know, Shock? Like, he didn't even say which country is he in. I don't understand how you guys figure these things out. I'm too old for the internet. Anyway, queen b6, rook d1, e5. What do we do? Next move is very important. By the way, I think I would have preferred here castles. Is there anything wrong with this? Oh, he said IL. I didn't realize that. Sorry, I am also being blind. Yeah, that helps this layer if you can read English. Yeah, I know that. Thank you. I am not that retarded. I just didn't read that at all. Thank you, thank you. Well, best of luck with the tourney. What do we do here, folks? Chess Optics, welcome in. What is the thematic way to rip into this? Exactly, we go a4. It's very important that after b4, we can sneak in a5, splitting the pawns apart. And now both b4 and c4 are going to be genuine targets, in particular c4. And after queen a6, we have got a very sexy move here. Let's see who can find it. Tactics is on the money. Very good. b3, double exclam. And after takes, we trap the queen. Sexy chess. Good job, guys. So, Topalov instead played e5. Very risky business. How do we go on in an aggro fashion here? Very good. Bishop g4 indeed. However, the young Turkish GM faltered here and played a questionable move here. Having said that, he played something extremely viciously aggressive, but the machine says nah. For the record, the machine says best is take, take, and take. And white's position is better because the black king is stuck in the middle. Our good friend Yagis Khan instead played an incredibly high T move. He played queen f3. What is his agenda after ed4? I love this move, by the way. Textbook case of why you shouldn't learn chess based on engine evaluations. It is an insanely bold and aggressive idea. But what is the idea? What does he want to do here? This kid is an absolute beast. Queen to f5. I'm not sure I understand what that does. Oh yeah, just kind of protecting the knight on c3. Yeah, but it's not a very productive move, is it? Yeah, viral is on the money. So the point here is that you want to rip the position open and go e5, e6. So if takes, which is a horrible move, then after e6 is a false mate. That is very impressive. Takes, check here. Actually, no, let's go mate here. Bloody sensational. Which is why I absolutely love this move. It's incorrect, though. Because after takes, black has c5. Yeah, it is absolutely stunning. And now if black defends perfectly, then the attack is not going to break through. But that's a very, very, very big if. What is our move here, folks? What is our move here, folks? Knight e4, indeed. Very good. Topalov captured. Rook g6 was also playable. I quite like this move. Trying to cover up the most important squares on the 6th rank and retaining the pin. But again, it just feels like playing with fire. To keep this king in the middle and keep this many pieces alive. And yet, after bishop e7, it seems that black is alive. If knight d6, we can take and now the queen is on. So that's not on. And if e6, then we have knight f6. Now, this is absolutely mind-bending complications. Like, here you would think that black is dead lost. And then the engine goes, no. Normal. Normal to self-pin yourself and walk into this. Completely normal. What the hell? So if I play a pass here with black, then the point is that after knight takes and bishop takes, queen f5 piles up too much pressure. And I suppose that is the justification of the king f8 move. Man, the rook can't move because of rook e8. Wow. And it's over. Like, that is... No one finds king f8 here. No one. That is just the most outlandish proposition ever. So this would have been very, very interesting. Topalov opted to take on e4. This brings a greater degree of clarity in the position, but it gives up black's greatest asset, the bishop on b7, and the pin that it was creating. So take bishop e7. What do we do now? What do we do now? Your instinct, of course, is to play e6, -2, but we know it's wrong because it forces knight f6, forking these two. So that is not it. Yeah, but then we have created a nothing pie, right? Or a nothing burger. So e6, knight f6, if you go back to queen f3 with threatening nothing, I can just take this, I can play d3. That's, nah, there's no pressure there. If you take first, and then queen f3, that's better. But even here, the trades continue, and there is too little material left on the board. Shock Rocket League champion is on the money as always. a4 is your move. We want to provoke a5. Then we can kick the queen. And then c4 in some lines may be vulnerable. Our Turkish legend played queen e2 right away. This is inaccurate by the engine's measure. But once again, this is one of those lines that I just don't understand. Because the engine promotes the idea of knight f8. And this is like not even a move that one would consider with the idea of rook d4. And then replace the c-pawn. These ideas, in my opinion, are completely unfindable for most humans. Like below 2700, if you find any of these, Kramnik is going to start the procedure. It's crazy. And I say this, and Topalov found all of these moves. Then again, he's 2700 plus. And because of its Topalov, Kramnik will start the procedure anyway. In fact, all the more so. Now the funny thing is that according to the machine, black is better. But I'm still picking white every day of the week because to make some sense of these pieces, whilst the bishop pair is raging, the rook is incoming, is very difficult. Zili, welcome in. c4 played, rook a7 played, c3 played. Is this game from today? No. This is this match was running parallel to the candidates. So this was a 6 games match and it's already over. Start a custom game, welcome in. No, I don't think so, Optics, because both players have already made multiple mistakes that are disapproved by the engine. So it had to be their own findings, because if they followed the theory, then they made no sense. No, they're definitely out of book by now, well and truly. 100%. That is no question that we have been out of book, in fact, for a fair while now. BC. I mean, look at this. This is running in. These are running in. This is so much fun. This is so much fun to watch this game. I attack your rook and I'm threatening to promote the queen. Erdogmus goes, sure. No worries. Well, I have seen a recent video emerging where they were analyzing with Mamedyarov. So maybe Mamedyarov is part of the crew. I don't know. Based on the style he's playing, it would make perfect sense. Because Mamedyarov was a similarly relentless, wild animal of attacking. How do I recommend for a 1600 FIDE rated player to learn the Sveshnikov? I don't know. Like, is there a bad way to learn it? Like, I don't actually understand what you're after. But if I were you, I would get a Sveshnikov course on Chessable. I'm going to present one very soon, by the way. And go from there. But at 1600 FIDE, like, hello? Like, hardly anyone plays into the Sveshnikov, and the people who do, they know nothing about it. So back up your knowledge or establish your knowledge on model games as well. Yes, Shaq is coaching Yagis. Yeah. I don't think that at 1600 level there is a bad... The only bad way to learn the Sveshnikov is if you start memorizing 25 move long lines. Don't do that. Start with model games. I thought you said a chess star doesn't exist. No, I didn't say that. Well, I did say that, but you took that out of context. I said that you cannot enforce your chess style into every single position. You have preferences of what you like to play and what you don't, but you need to be able to adapt. That's what I said, and I still go with that. If you guys can guess the best move for white here, shout out. It's actually not that outlandish, but still wild. What I was meaning to say by saying that chess stars don't exist is that you should never ever become a hostage of the illusion that, oh, I'm an attacking player, and then be surprised when you play 10 games and out of 10, in 6 of them you didn't even come close to an attacking position. The Seleki, anything by Seleki is great. So I'm, like, yes. I am about to begin publishing the Siles course, which is in Spanish currently, and I'm going to be the English presenter of it. So, Seleki, go for it. If you want to support me, then go for the soon to be presented the Renegade Sveshnikov by Luis Fernandez Siles, and then soon to be presented in English by yours truly. When is it published though? I would say in a month or two. I don't have a follow each command, sorry. So yeah, e6 is the move we're playing here, guys, to open up this. Rook a8 is unfortunately not doing the trick here, because after take, I can control b8 by 97. I cannot give you help, buddy, with crossing 800 without seeing your games, my friend. And in fact, if you are hoping for one word fixes, they don't exist. I'm happy to look at your games. The frick is the analysis command not working again? Yeah, the stuff I have got on my channel on this Sveshnikov is already quite useful. Sorry guys, I'm trying to fix the commands. Does it even work on Twitch now? Oh shit, it doesn't. Okay. XD, I don't quite understand your question. Like, the question of are you washed can only be answered with the alternatives of are you cuckoo, and I don't want to do that. So You may have realized that I haven't played a game of OTB chess for 15 years. Like, I don't know what to say to that. But now I'm distracted big time anyway. Okay, I can't be bothered doing this now. I'm sorry, guys. I cannot believe, XD, that we are having this conversation here. You do realize that you are talking to a chess coach, right? Like, my job is to coach people who go and compete. What's your story, dude? I can't believe that I'm seeing this. Anyway, so back to the game. We played e6. Sorry, I got distracted by trying to fix something that I cannot now fix. Knight e6 played. And now we play rook a8. Now that is what you call a sheer genius, right? Because with e6, what he did, apart from opening up this diagonal and putting b8 queen on the map, he was actually decoying the knight or deflecting the knight so it can't go to d7 to cover this. Now you may ask, why didn't they take on d1? And the reason here is because incredibly now we have got a mate threat here. That is freaking wild. Exactly, Tindy. When someone says I should compete because I'm still young is when you know that that they are on something. So now knight e6, bishop a4 or rook a8, but maybe rook a8 first. And black is in a world of hurt. Theologician, welcome in. You can't prevent take and take. It's insane. It is absolutely insane. If I take with the pawn, then comes check. And now king d7 is met by check. And if I block, again, I lost the ability to block that with the knight. This time around, the winning idea, though, is not rook a8, as it allows king f7, but bishop c7, threatening to eliminate the defender of b8 and then queen. And now if king here, then take, and now we hunt the second guy. This is mental. And there is still a guy here, by the way. This is absolutely mental. Like, e6 should get triple exclams. Yeah, I just demonstrated the pawn takes, yeah? So we are clear about that. Personal advice. I already provided that, didn't I? Like, what's your question, buddy? If it's feasible within the time constraint that I have on stream, I will provide it. Ask. Yeah, this is insane. So the game continued, knight takes, rook a8, king d7. Black is playing best move still, by the way. So why don't they take this first and then king d7 is a very good question to ask. And your answer? Because now it's mate. I mean, come on! Come on. What? I'm sorry, the commands don't work. I need to fix that. But beyond that, I'm reading chat. And Tindy is helping me with the YouTube chat anyway. I'm looking for a reply against d4. My primary goal is I want this opening to have improvement and mine, and 2-1 opening that is very sound at high level. Do you have any suggestions? Yes. Ken Sven Spielpong. Unfortunately, my commands don't work, I believe. So I don't know how to fix those. But my chessable course d4, d5 is for you. This mate is just insane. Okay, guys, everything fixed. Everything should be fixed now. Let me try again. You might need to refresh your browser. Yeah, the commands are now back. Sorry, I was an absolute moron. So, at least I managed to fix it. What is the next best thing if you are struggling to find model games for an opening? You're really going to hate me for this answer. Freaking find model games. How hard can it be? You give me an opening and I'm gonna give you model games within 2 minutes. And I do not have some God-sent talent. Find model games. You are 23. You're just about to graduate as a lawyer. Can you still achieve a title in chess? If yes, what should be your approach? It depends on what title. Well, there are lots of unknowns. What's your current playing strength is the first thing we need to know. I do think that this kid is the next world champion. By the way. Unless something goes sideways, if I had to predict the next world champion, I'm saying it out loud here for the first time. Yagiz Khan Erdogmus. That's the name. So King D7 played. Check played. And you know what's incredible? According to the machine, we are looking at 000 still. Trip zeros. But after the check, Topalov had to find King B6 as only move. He played King C5 instead, and that went straight to loss. This could dethrone Sindarov. Tindy, that assumes that Sindarov is going to dethrone Gukesh. And if I had to put money on that, I would be very, very frugal with how much money would I put on that. Ken, my suggestion doesn't change whether you are willing to spend money or not. Classical Slav is a very good choice. I'm dying to know, by the way, your rationale of not wanting to spend money on it. Costs you about $25 for an entire black repertoire against d4. If you do not have $20 for an entire repertoire, or God forbid 30, like the entry fee that you are going to pay for the first OTB tournament is going to be double to triple of that. Anyway, king c5 played, and the big deal here is that now after take and whatever takes back, we have a rook check here. And after king d4, we are covering the promotion square. If rook takes instead, to take the sting out of all of this, we still have check. I don't know if this is what Topalov blundered. That he might have only reckoned here with rook d8. And then after knight d8 now it's a reverse Uno card because it's black who is delivering mate. $100 says Sindarov smokes him. Dude, I would have been similarly enthusiastic about saying the same about how Gukesh was gonna smoke Ding, which I'm pretty sure everyone agrees with me was considered to be a foregone conclusion, much more so than the current debate, and it was a last game blunder that allowed Gukesh to claim the title. Ever since that experience, I have been very reluctant to call any matches to be a foregone conclusion. So how would king b6 change the picture here? The point now is that when we go rook takes and queen and come back, we are winning. Which is, again, absolutely mind-boggling. And by the way, we are on move 36, so probably these guys have no time to calculate this, and yet, here we are. So rook d8 is the correct move. Raider Duck, thank you. Love from Latham? Oh, that's my dude from Canberra. Didn't you go on a trip to South America? Or are you back already? What's up? And the big difference here is that we can do this. And the game is a draw. So why can't we do that here? Because now I can't take because the rook is hanging. Viral Stigma, you are right that they haven't proven anything given that Carlsen still exists. But Carlsen doesn't exist. Not in that context. He chooses not to play. Therefore, he doesn't exist. His claim to be the best classical player is as strong as yours. Because he refuses to be measured up against these kids. Latham is a Canberra suburb. So, yes, but no. Sadly, Viral Carlsen has claimed to nothing other than being a passionate Fischer Random player. Oh, yes, I do remember you, mate. Living in Paraguay half the time. I see. So, king c5 played, rook takes played, knight c7 played. I mean, everything is losing now, but this actually allows a forced mate. Okay. Type in the forced mate if you can from here on out. And thank you very much for the dono, by the way. Appreciate you, mate. Why to move force mate? I totally agree with you, Viral. In fact, that is my biggest beef with Magnus. That is my biggest beef with Magnus. In a way, he really left a giant wreck behind himself because he's very clearly the strongest player in the world, yet he's very clearly disinterested in proving it. And so there is a giant hiatus kind of sense of feel, or void, if you will, in every chess lover, in that we have got world champions and then we have a guy who is clearly better than them. And 100% it is Magnus's fault. Now, you can't force a guy to play if he doesn't want to, but in that case, I think it would have been best for everyone, including Carlsen, to completely remove himself from any over-the-board contexts and contests. So where's my mate? Where is my mate? Yes, Raider Duck, you are correct. I don't think, Agam Tendon, any of your messages are deleted. But you still haven't asked the question. Oh, yes, you did ask a question. So you are currently 1500 FIDE and you want to have a title. Look, here is my take on this. And I'm going to offend a lot of people, but as usual, I do not particularly mind that. In my opinion, as a male chess player, the only title that is worth shooting for, as in the absolute floor, is FIDE Master. That's 2300 FIDE rating level. You are 23 years old and you are 1500 and you are after my honest opinion. Don't bother. Now we can compromise this and we can shoot for a different title. Candidate Master. I don't even know the requirement for that. Maybe 2000 FIDE or 2100. Attainable. A lot of work. As a starter outer lawyer though, you will not be able to excel in your professional field and steadily improve your chess at the same time too. Especially if you still would like to have some social life. Mind you, the fact that you have got a chess goal kind of suggests to me that social life is not part of your agenda at all. But if it were, once again, my advice to you, with utmost respect, don't bother. Just don't bother, mate. Play chess for fun and run a happy life on the side. No, I disagree with you, Chameleon. I could totally disagree with you. He was definitely not afraid of losing. And he wouldn't have lost either. No, he just hated the work that it required. I understand that. I have no beef with him at all about the way, or rather about the time and the reason why he pulled the plug. He has proven to everyone that he was by far the best. And likely would have faced the exact same opponent whom he defeated already. Fair. But then pull the plug proper and don't half-ass it by still playing some over-the-board tournaments and constantly hinting that I'm still the best. No, if you pull the plug, buddy, you pull the plug. But it was a half-ass, oh, I don't want to play anymore, but still respect me as the best. It's like, you can't have your cake and eat it too. That's it. And because of his doing that, he constantly floats this concept amongst chess fans that, oh yeah, we have a world champion and we have the best player. It's like, sorry, bro. No, we have world champion, and you have to respect it. And if you would like to prove yourself again, unfortunately, you have to go back into the same vicious cycle. Because it's not fair that all of them are in the cycle that he hated, and he still wants to claim that he's still the best. It's like, yeah, if you want to do that, play against them. Otherwise, shut up. Oh, look, it's not about waking up with an FM next to your name and then you feel like whatever. I think people, by far and large, really like to pursue goals that are really, really challenging. It doesn't have to be an FM title. It can be running a half marathon or whatever. It's like not once you have completed the half marathon, all of a sudden you are a trillionaire or you feel like you have conquered the world. It's merely a goal that is difficult enough that it gives meaning to your everyday life. Oh, look, that's what you asked for. That's what I provided. So, and look, you are more than welcome to disagree with my take or go against it. But since you asked for my opinion, that's what I provided. So the mate provided, by the way, by our Latham friend is exactly what he said. It is bishop check, rook check, bishop check, and then mate. Yeah, Chameleon Eyes, I didn't ask you to be my translator, and I agree that you need to tone the language down a little bit. Thank you. Style is the man himself. It's a very famous French quotation, which I slightly abuse now by translating it, but yes. Style is just as important as the actual message. Yes, please. Oh yeah, I missed the sideline here. You are correct. If king c4, then I would rather go b3 mate rather than entering that wide line. I always lose the symmetrical drawing positions. Do you have an advice? What do you mean? Like symmetrical resulting from a particular opening? Like, I'm curious how you end up with a lot of symmetrical positions. Because if you play, for example, the Slav, then yes, the exchange Slav is symmetrical, but that's so few and far between that you shouldn't even feel like I'm always losing symmetry. And I typically avoid symmetry, by the way, because of it being boring. All right, we still have a little time, so I would like to have a look at. And by the way, Erdogmus absolutely wiped the floor with Topalov. So I want to have a look at another game, but I need to eat something. So we're going to take a break for 1 minute. And then I will resume with the next game. Be right back.
Kinain niya yun kung ang alam ko lang na ganun siya kamagnanakaw. Hindi ko binigay sa kanya yung body mix na body shot. Hindi niya deserve mabigyan. Oo. Oo. Hindi na itago-tago kung para alam ng tao siya magna. Kaya nga. Pagbigay ko na lang pati. Kapag halimbawa ano. Kami na mirror. Ano oras ka natulog? 10 o'clock. Sinabi ko na kay Idang.
Alright, ladies, nearly done. I just need to grab a bit of water. And we can get rolling. Okay, ladies, I'm back. But I still need to stuff my face a little bit, so please bear with me. Yeah, look. Happy to have a look at them if you want, but my best advice is to know as much theory as you possibly can. Analyze those games that you lose. And draw conclusions. Learn from them. No, actually, not at all, Jazz. The next video, which is going to be dedicated to the H4 idea, is going to be anonymous altogether, so only people who remember the previous video will know that it was you. What I'm eating is a slightly past the use date croissant, which I consume with peanut butter. And I brought in a few pieces of grapes. So this bullshit is becoming increasingly more popular, to my greatest dismay. And I'm very glad that Erdogmus defeated the crap out of this nonsense. I don't hate anything Alan chess in chess. It's just that everything has a purpose, and the collie has a purpose too. The purpose of the collie is to give you an opening that you can learn in 3 minutes and beat idiots up with it. Right? If that's your purpose, it's perfect, man. I love it for that purpose. If your idea is to become the best chess player you can ever be, it's the greatest piece of turd. So look at it, have a look at your purpose. What is it that I want? And then check if that tool is helping you to achieve it. It's like asking me about what I think about pineapples. I think it's one of the best fruits in the world. But if your goal is to fly to the United States from your current location, then pineapple is really useless. Like, seriously, man. I really don't think that pineapples will help you to achieve that at all. So it has nothing to do with my personal take on it. It's a lot more to do with what do you want. Don't know why you're yelling language, but whatever. Also, don't forget Chameleon, it's my stream. Yeah, but this is not open Sicilian, ladies. You may have noticed that it can get you there. The Caro-Kann is a fundamentally sound opening. My only beef with the Caro-Kann is styling issues, that it doesn't really nurture aggressive attacking chess. And in fact, aggressive thinking altogether. My take about the Caro-Kann is, to put in one sentence, is that the higher level player you are, the better that opening becomes. For your purposes. Okay, let's go. Yeah, like, if you play this with white, I think you should be sent to the corner and face the wall for 10 minutes, honestly. Oh, Jesus Christ, man. E6 is a very engine-y move that defies all kinds of classical chess education. A classically approached take here. Buletare Dimitri, thank you so much for joining the YouTube community. Love you, long time, brother. Is rook b8 and play for queenside pawn storm kind of thing. E6 is a very weird move here to play, fully supported by the engine. Why doesn't black go knight e5? Here, it's because of the check. That's exactly why we need castle first. And that's exactly why after castles they drop back. Am I an idiot for playing e4, c5, d4, d5, bishop d3 whenever I face the Caro? Kind of. Yeah. I mean, you asked the question, so you got the answer. I would have played in knight d4, but I guess rook b8 is consistent. I hate the way Topalov is playing this. This is really the antithesis of how Topalov used to play chess. Like, Topalov not playing open Sicilian with white, it's like, dude, really? Unreal. This is absolutely shameful chicken chess. And by the way, I love here the engine's f5 idea. So aggressive. EF, GF. It's very scary because it looks like we're blundering bishop c5. In fact, we are. But then there is rook f6 here. With some vicious kingside attack. Amisar Lukman. Thank you. This is wild. No one finds this. Yeah, that is the logical play, right? We want to play knight d4, send it. Oh, Skully raided us. That was the raid, the noise, right. Hello, you lovely beast. Apologies for overlooking the raid. Thank you very much. I hope you had some fun. And welcome raiders in. Have I seen Shandorf's Collie course at all? No. Am I interested in seeing it? Also no. When I was a kid, he was old. Now I'm old and he's even older. Yeah. And that, by the way, being said, I really like Shandorf's works in general. So that was not a diss at Shandorf. I like the guy. I think he is quite a good good dude in terms of creating chess content. He's just backing the wrong horse there, that's all. This is a beautiful chess game by Yagiz Khan. And what's particularly appealing to me, speaking of styles that someone questioned me about earlier, that here he's actually playing a very fine positional game, making my case once again that, you know, I said that styles don't exist, they do, but you have to adjust it to the opening you are, or the position you are playing. No, definitely 120% rook since it wins the chess game on the spot. No, he's no longer 27 strength. No. And this, I don't know how much rating he lost in this match, but it might well push him back down sub 27. Which, frankly, is where he belongs. I'm not even sure if he has got a 2650 strength if you compare him to many 2650 current players. So, yeah.
F5 scary for a human to play because it weakens that diagonal a bit?
Not even a bit, a lot. Yes, it is a scary one. Thanks for the sub, buddy. I appreciate you. The 2005 Veselin Topalov would have won this match. Yes, but as such it's a senseless or meaningless statement. That's like saying that the current United States Army would have defeated Napoleon. It's like, yep, totally. Absolutely. In fact, it would have obliterated Napoleon's army. In fact, it could have been Napoleon and Genghis Khan combined, and they still would have obliterated them. You seem to be unable to calculate well in your actual games. What is the problem? Do you not calculate enough in actual games? Or does the quality of your calculation deteriorate in games? The first one is a habitual issue. The second one, almost certainly nerves. I'm trying to determine the purpose of Queen D8. And I'm not having a lot of luck yet. I thought that the idea was to play H6 Queen G5. But based on the game, it also has the ability, I suppose, to come out here. I mean, it certainly does look better on the dark squares, yeah? So the fact that I can manage both diagonals may be very important. I think Chameleon, you need to drop this. Magnus is afraid to lose agenda. If for no other reason, because you already said it 7 times today and we got the memo. Yeah, this is so clean play by the Turk. I really like it. Also, I don't think I would call it an exhibition match. It was serious stuff for both. Wow. Trapping the bishop on b1 is kind of humiliating. Far out. Cheers, buddy. Okay, who can see the game deciding tactic? It's kind of amazing that Topalov sucked it in, but there's not a lot to be done, to be honest. How does black win by force here? Yeah, I was shocked about this. Yeah, so Hans Niemann's next 2 matches are... Who was the one before Nepo? I forgot. Someone help me out. I saw it on X, aka Twitter. And when I saw that he's playing against Nepo, I'm like, what? Like, I thought that Nepo would refuse to be in the same city with the guy. Raider Duck is correct. C2 gets captured twice and that falls. Game is over. For this match, it was a regular classical time control. $90-40 plus 30 bonus. Okay, game 4 was the Rui Lopez, which was agreed to draw, but Erdogmus had a winning position in the end game. It was a Rui Lopez, by the way, so the kid plays e4, d4 with both colors. As in, sorry, with both. No, he plays e4 and d4 both with similar strength, which, by the way, is incredible. Not unheard of nowadays, of course, many GMs do. But amongst the world champions, the first one who did that was Garry Kasparov. Prior to that, all world champions were heavily committed to either d4 or e4. Okay, round 5 was so complicated, there is absolutely zero chance I'm gonna cover that now. And round 6 is coming up in 7 hours. Okay, I'm gonna show you a game. I'm very curious what you guys think about this. I haven't checked it yet, so I don't quite know what happened exactly. One of my favorite variations to deal with, which is the Harwitz attack in the Queen's Gambit decline. So this is the initial story. d4 is known to be a bad idea. Oh, sorry, I stand corrected. Karpov was also e4, d4. Yes, my apologies. Thank you, Viral, for catching my factual incorrectness there. You want to see a 1v1 match as opposed to a 5v5 between Hannah Says and Anna Kramling. Okay, you do you. Sure. I mean, it would certainly be interesting. Right, what do we do against d4? That would be the clash of the streamers, I suppose. Ah, look, Fischer did add a few oddballs here and there, but 99.9% of his e4, his white games were e4. Right on. So we want a castle. In a 1v1, definitely not. But in a 2v2 and a 3v3, most definitely. What the frick is this 1v1, guys? Like, Jesus. So, queen sack. It would depend on the time control, by the way. The more you lower the time control, the more likely Levy would beat me. I would say that I would stand no chance in bullet. About 55-45 to his favor in blitz. And then it would tip over in longer time controls, maybe. But even those would be likely 50-50. Is it relevant at all in any context, though? No. Right. Bishop d3, h6, and I want us to recommend moves from here on out. Oh, Mr. Tuyo in the house. Or Tullo. Rook d1 is Machine's favorite move. Yeah, so Riri Tika, it is a psychological issue, which I'm not saying that I don't have answers for, but you seem to underperform when under pressure. So you need to train that. Play training games, you know, be mindful, more mindful of your actions when you are playing a game. It does sound to me like nerve issues. Yeah, so we went g4. Which is not a great move. Did we? Oh, wait. No, I'm showing you the wrong game. Oh, no, I'm showing you the right game. Sorry, this is how it went. There's one particular decision in this game that I want to show you. So I'm going to speed it up a bit. It all makes sense, right? This was actually a mistake. Because of that. And my plan was to shut the bishop down with knight f6, but apparently it's faulty. Yeah, but it's also not chess, so... You could tell them just as well to, you know, rob a bank. Like, that's also very stressful. And also has nothing to do with chess. Sporgasm, welcome in. Alright, actually I only have one question for you guys about this whole entire game. I realize now, which is the following. What is White's winning line here? And this may be the rest. I don't know. I would choose the language that you speak. I don't understand the question, Mr. Tullo. First of all, call out the lines you are calculating, evaluate them. Ask yourself, am I better here? Am I worse? What is my plan? Where am I? What is my worst place piece? Like, I don't understand what you want me to say to this. It's the things that people tell you to do, and since you are playing a game of chess and no one can legally tell you that, you must do it for yourself. Definitely don't talk to yourself like, I really did like the waitress who served me the coffee before the game. I think I should ask her out. That is also very productive, but not for your chess. I need a full line, ladies. Full line, please. I think the issue with c5 if nothing else, I can always go back here. That's not a bad idea at all, Sporgasm. That is not a bad idea at all. Well, I think, Mr. Tullo, that whole story is the answer to your question. I still do not understand what you want me to say. So, when your opponent plays this, you say, that's garbage. You need to say it to yourself, right? Because that determines your response to it. Like, you're not going to play a3 if you call that garbage. So, you're going to play e4. If your opponent plays rook a7, you're going to develop. And by now you go like, this guy is playing to lose. I'm gonna kill him. And so you keep on playing aggressive chess. I think we still need, like, what I said to Courtney is what I'm saying to you. That, for example, when you see a move that you consider to be inappropriate, you need to call it out. Because it triggers your thinking and it actually directs your decision making to the correct direction, which is still word for word what I said to Courtney. So I'm still confused what you want me to say. And whilst I'm waiting for a further reframing, because I don't want to make you look like foolish, but I just don't know what you're after, man. My point was that sometimes people tend to make very irrational decisions which seem to be completely detached from the events of the board. Let me give you an example of this. Oh no, actually I'm going to do this. So in this position, they would go like, oh, I want to play h3. And I'm like, bro, your opponent played this, and now you're playing h3. Like, how? Like, you already called out this to be a BS, this to be a double BS, and yet we are wasting our life with this, which by the way is second best by the engine, but that's a different story. Like, why aren't we playing chess? It's not a matter of aggressive mindset, my friend, because it helps you just as well in positions where you are defending. It has nothing to do with aggression only. It has to do with you being aware of what's going on your board.
I am playing a slow game against my nephew who is in first grade. He hung his queen on move 5. Can he still become the next Magnus?
Absolutely yes. If now you tell them to not to bring their queen out early, that would be the first step. I'm going to model this to you, Tulo, one more time, and then I hope that this is going to cover you sufficiently. Your opponent plays c9, g4, right? This is what talking to yourself would look like under normal circumstances. You go like, that looks bad. This is what I would do if I were playing this game. Because what the hell is this knight doing here? It's not logical. It's not following principles. It's rubbish. However, I'm a bit behind in development. There is an awkward bishop move somewhere, then discovery situation here. So let me check if there is a tactic here. Does it threaten with some kind of violence? Oh, knight f2, king f2, bishop g3, check. Ha! Gotcha. So it's a cheap trick. It's a bad move, but I need to be careful because it actually does have a threat. So if I play h3, I just lost this chess game. Consequently, I'm going to play knight c3, which fits the bill because it develops control of the center and defends my queen, and I will be able to kick the queen next. The knight, rather. This is how you talk to yourself. Case closed. I forgot what we were doing. Oh, the game. Yeah, this is the position. So I noticed the game-winning motive here, and I fell into one of the greatest blunders of chess players. I thought that I was completely winning. And the reason why I entered this position in the first place is because I saw the idea. Right? Like, before I played h5... No, actually, sorry. I saw the idea here before I committed to the take. So, this is what I did. I calculated the line take, 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 check. Here, f4, take, queen h2, and the double mate threat of here and he can't be stopped. This was my calculation. And it's almost perfect, except you already saw that there was a blunder sign coming up. Now, I calculated f4, right, because I wanted to open up the second rank. But f4 makes absolutely zero sense when you can also do f3, which actually keeps the diagonal open, thus making queen h2 a double mate threat. And I just didn't calculate anything but en passant, which is just like, why would you? Like, seriously, man, what are you on? And if they hadn't captured it, but played like a semi-sensible move, I actually can't win this game anymore, because now queen h2 can be well met by this. So I had an absolutely genius idea, and then I just rushed the decision, and I just didn't think about the difference between f4 and f3. And f3 would have won an absolutely incredible game for me with this beautiful double attack. I played carelessly f4. My opponent, not even suspecting anything, idiotically took back and thus warranted the idea to be perfect. And when I finished the game, I thought, gee, this was amazing. I would show this to stream. And then I put through the analysis, and when I got a question mark for f4, I'm like, what? Best game? Sorry, best move of my game, and you're giving me a question mark? And then I realized that, oh, dude, like, they don't have to take it, and I just clogged up my own diagonal. And instead, if I had played f3, which is far more aggressive anyway, because it hits the bishop too, I would have won like an absolute banger with this. Yeah, it's a textbook case of you find the idea, you get excited, you act too fast, and then you go like, oh man. Mr. Tullo, if you have got a month to prepare, just do what you would normally do. Don't change your routine. Calculating exercises. In the last week, brush up on your openings, and in the interim, work on your weaknesses. Oh yeah, we have all been there. Nonetheless, in the end, the mate did occur. So I was pretty happy with the finish. So we went bishop d6, queen. Unfortunately, knight is not mate here. This really bummed me out. Because now I need to run a few more laps to get the mate in. I was really upset about this. I really wanted the knight discovery to be the mate. But I had to get a queen and go for this very mundane checkmate with 2 queens. Oh well, it is what it is. Yeah, the combo was great. It was just the execution that was lacking big time. Likewise, sir. Likewise. Yeah, I think guys we're going to call it here. I think we're gonna call it here. I'm going to raid you away to a lovely lady. And I'm going to see you later on, guys. Take care. Love you all. Thanks for tuning in. Check out YouTube. And I will see you in the next one. Have a good one, guys. Cheerio. Bye.